But
Where's Jules, by the way?
is he meant to be coming here? Oh, nice. Oh, he's coming here, yeah?
I reckon he's on the phone about hopefully that offer. I'm hoping.
Come on, the offer. Luxury market 2025. We're talking off camera about how the market's being affected. There's a few things to consider. Buyers, renovations, types of properties. What's your...
Let's start where we're sitting though first.
Okay, cool.
Phil.
This beautiful chair.
Beautiful chair.
Is it a branded one, do we know? Because I see Hermes.
I want to
Hermes
say
pillows.
this is B&B Atella or Minotti.
It's big stuff, isn't it? Mine's normally Dragon Mart. Looks nice. You can really tell the difference out there, can't you?
Comfy, innit?
Because your body print don't get stuck into it after.
Or it's like a bullet.
Yeah, just sitting.
Just dead ass. Just fucking give me a bad back.
Oh God. Gilles, you okay?
Do you need anything with Jules before we start?
No, we are starting. This is actually it. We've got Gilles in the background here. He is one of our property investors, bought multiple properties from a successful property owner, and now transitioning into luxury property real estate. I've been interested in one of his contacts. I'm sure he's going to be absolutely incredible at the job, and his personality.
For sure.
Only man I know that owns a golden putter.
Oh, yeah.
You still got that golden putter, Gilles? Yeah? Fantastic. Well, the luxury property market, let's talk about that. Lots of people claim to be in luxury. This, to me, looking at the ceiling here and the artwork, I think this would be a 10-meter ceiling, would you reckon?
9 meter it is.
That was a good guess, wasn't it? 9-meter ceilings, floor-to-ceiling windows. You can tell this is...
Sorry, it's not 9 meters. 7.5, I think.
Really?
Yeah, because this is...
I'm going 9 to 10. Because my house windows are 5 meters, 4.9. And that's nearly double that.
I should know that.
You should know that.
Scrap that. Let me... Well, no, we go because I'm going to measure it.
Yeah, exactly. This is part of what we do. Live on the podcast. You got the app there, have you?
Yeah.
I'm going to say this is 9 meters. It's got to be 9 meters.
Closer.
Go on then.
Fuck it.
You can do this. I'm saying 9. What do you reckon this is? What do you think? I'm saying, if I know perfect guess, 8.8. 8.8. 7.5. You're on the money. Yeah, let's call it 8 then. We'll go with 8. Bigger the better. So we've just measured live on the podcast the R9 floor to ceiling depth of the feature wall. No, did we say 8 or 9? 8. 8 meters. It was absolutely incredible. I mean, house like this, we talk about luxury. We're in R9. We do the podcast in R9. R9 is also a footballer, by the way, the best ever footballer.
What's that?
R9, Ronaldo, Brazilian footballer. This is luxury to me. Talk to me about what we're in. What are we in?
So we are in R9 of the collection.
Mm-hmm.
Collection was developed by Koa. I sold this to the guy who, I won't name names, but sold it to the guy as a plot.
Yeah.
He leaped into the market with 2 plots when the times were very different to what it is today.
I remember when you were selling it, this is the time when people were buying on the premise of it's a plot, here's potentially what it could look like, buy in.
Yeah, I mean, people with vision, could see it. People would develop a background. This was the owner who bought this, had never developed a background, but overseas developed. This is his first development in Dubai.
So how do they do it? So someone's bought the plot for R9, they've come in, they must hire people to do the 3Ds, the renders, the visuals. They go through the whole process with their team?
Yeah, I mean, some people do it differently. Some people will have a contractor where they'll have PMs and...
Which is me. That's what I do if I renovate a house.
Yeah, so you don't want to get...
Show me the 3D, go for it.
You'll give them renders. This is what I want.
Yeah.
And then there'll be other people that will delve real into it and want to be hands-on a pro.
That's you.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah, I remember you doing your renovation, and I remember you saying, "I've got my steel from Britain." I'm sure that it was UK steel for the outside. I was like, "Mate, I'll get steel from Karama. Like, why are you getting it from there?" But you're into the details, aren't you?
If I could I'd love to rip out my house again and do it again.
Really?
Yeah, I love my home.
Yeah.
but there's so much that'll change.
It's when you see houses like this and houses modernized over time. So I think if you have a 4 or 5-year-old house now, you're actually probably outdated already in Dubai from the new stuff you can do.
Taste change,
Yeah.
you know, styles change.
I think the perfect luxury house now revolves around natural light, which this has, high ceilings, you know, is it monotone? Does that mean what does
Minotti.
it? No, not a brand. What do you call it? The color? It's like
Just a neutral
beigey,
palette.
neutral palette. Even the floorings gone from like tiles to you know, everything is not graphite. It's stone throughout. There's a style at the moment that is just liked by the luxury, isn't there?
Yeah.
My glasses, my Meta Ray-Bans ringing.
Because of the influx of people we've seen coming in over the last, since COVID.
Yeah.
People have much more attention to detail than the buyers that were previously here.
They, like, categorically say they did not have any attention to detail in 2000.
There was always money here, and there was always people here that wanted something nice,
but you couldn't get it.
And it was few and far between. It still is few and far between. Like,
look at garden homes.
Good homes.
Garden homes. You go into an unrenovated garden home. Oh my life! It's like going back to like the 80s and 90s.
But remember, the original prices on those were very different.
2.86 and I think like 3.5, 4.2.
So you look back then.
Yeah.
Okay, I know it's all relevant, but people say, "Oh, 25 million for this finish." Or I looked at one with Ryan yesterday for a refurb, and it was 25 million, the lowest number.
Quite a decent price in today's
It's
market,
actually a good price. There is still money in it, but you look at for 25 million and people go, £5 million for this.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, it wasn't £5 million when it was launched. So the finish was equal to what the launch price was back in 2000.
This is my play on luxury. And again, we'll talk about R9 a bit more in a minute, but you know, I bought Palm Jebel Ali about 2 months ago. And I said to Charlie, I was like, look, this is going to be a great investment. And when I hear 25 million for a ready Palm Jumeirah bed, I'm like, oh, well, actually, like, maybe my investment isn't that good. But if you took the Palm Jumeirah bed you're talking about 25 million and you travertined it all up, bifolding doors, amazing kitchens and everything else, you're probably going to double the price. You're probably talking 40 million plus. Because bear in mind, you got to pay, what, 8,000 dirham a square foot now to get the approvals?
Yeah, you have to buy the GFA off of Nikhil. And it fluctuates on price depending on the extension. But
so when you put the approval costs in, which is massive now, and I think the reason they're doing that is to protect the newer stuff coming out. And then you put the fit out cost, you're probably going to have to sell at 40 million plus for that villa. So that's where I think Palm Jebel Ali, buying these villas in Palm Jebel Ali, and why I made that investment, a few of my friends and other people have made the investment, is if you get a modern house today with the high ceilings, bifold, travertine, everything else, and you're on the sea, that ain't a 25 million dirham house anymore. That's some serious money.
Yeah, no, I agree. But there's some nice product out there now.
Yeah. What's your favorite? What's your favorite? Your favorite villa must be Barari, because obviously you are Mr. Barari. And if you say off on camera, it's not Barari.
Yeah, I mean the home we've just sold for the Amaya, which was developed by Koa, which is the master developer for the collection.
Koa's finishing is incredible, isn't it?
From a space perspective,
yeah.
Like where we live in JGE,
yeah.
Or if you go across the whole of Dubai,
yeah.
trying to find something with a big plot,
yeah,
like this one as well, which is just under 20k plot.
Yeah.
People want space. You know, people come over from the UK or Europe with like some of these stately homes or, you know, old manor houses where they've got 3, 4, 5, 10 acres of land. And then you look here and try and even find an acre, which I believe is around 39,000 square foot plot.
Yeah.
Even to find something on an acre, you're few and far between.
Yeah, I mean, you look at my house, for an example. I looked at my plot the other day, it's just under 13,000, I think 12.
Yeah.
For what the house is 18,000, but the plot is 12. And then you come here and you genuinely understand the Al Barari. I always had this thing about when I was selling property myself, I always remember thinking, who would I want to buy a property from? And at the time, I remember, if it wasn't for quality, I would go to Nikhil. And the reason I liked Nikhil was Jumeirah Park. And we're talking normal villas now. The plots were massive. And I always thought, wow, whenever you go to these areas, the ones that have the big plots will end up attracting the clients. And I think that's sort of transitioned into luxury where you've got a big plot and you build an amazing house. And you talk about the Amaya that you sold, Allsopp, and also private office sold, and did a fantastic job on with the open house. I remember walking into it and the house was incredible. The finish, Koa did an incredible job. But it's not just the build, it's how they located the river down the side, and then your dinner table was overlooking the river, and then you had another lake at the back, and you had a separate dining area at the back, and the space is a luxury that people want.
Mm. It is like space and privacy, because you look at a lot of these developments out there, they are just crammed on top of one another, either back to back, huge built up area, small plots. And then you look, if you've got a family of 3, you know, and you're just having a big garden, like, well, where do the kids play?
Stand in the corner.
Like, where are the kids going to play about? And I know all these communities have parks, like common areas, and that's great. But if you want to have people over with friends, with kids, you know, they want to play football or something like that. So where are you supposed to do that?
Yeah. So interestingly, so one of our agents, really senior agent, said he just bought a property in Barari, an apartment.
Oh yeah.
Okay, yeah. So I'm not going to name names because of that. So I said, "Oh, amazing! You bought a property in Barari," and he said, "Lewis," he said, "it's the best community setup he's been to in Dubai," and that absolutely shocked me. Is the lagoon and everything?
Yeah, that's it. They got the bay.
Who's in charge of doing that? Who is that?
That's Al Barari. That's Al
Barari.
Yeah.
Okay, fine.
Which is great. They've listened to got a great kids park.
Yeah.
You've got an amazing football pitcher as well, which JG's screaming out for.
They've got one next to this, the smallest one.
Yeah, it's not like that. That's they've done that really well.
You play cupsies out there or what? Remember cupsies? When you have one in goal and then you have 2 teams of 2 just trying to score. You're not in play that game younger.
That must be a northern.
Yeah, cupsies was like lethal. Like honestly, like
really?
you get knocked out if you don't score the goal. So that's what I've seen is that where people are getting really impressed, and we talk about that agent, it's not just the property's luxury, but if it comes with the amenities, which is huge, not just in villas, but also apartments, which we'll get onto in a minute. Do you think that's a big swing for people?
Yeah, people used to get sucked in. I know I was one of them. That years ago, it was like, right, you need 9, 10 bedrooms, massive living room, massive kitchen, you know, and that's what people want. It's not. Like 4, 5, 6 beds tops, but great office, great gym.
They're the 2 features that people want.
A spa, like your sauna, your steam, your ice baths, you know.
Would you sacrifice a bedroom so say, if you had a 7 bed, would you take the 5 bed if you could have a gym and a office?
Any day of the week.
I think a lot of people would.
Yeah.
I think that's the way the world is, especially in the luxury market. Like, I think about myself, and if I'm not in the office and I've got a meeting or whatever, a video call, I go to my office. And if I'm not in the office and I'm at home, I'll go to the gym. And like, I think having them facilities around you is huge.
Yeah, I've just had a sauna put down the side of.
Oh yeah, Carl's just had that as well.
Yeah.
I think it gets rid of the toxins. You can really feel like
he went infrared. I
went deep coals, made it like suck the soul out of you. Like you go in.
Yours is traditional and infrared.
I've got both, yeah.
Well, I wasn't mad on the infrared.
I just wanted it because, you know, I like everything. So I'm just like, I love that as well. So let's talk about luxury as a whole. How is the market at the moment? Is it saturated? What do you see?
It's definitely not saturated.
Okay.
Good product that's been executed well. It is few and far between.
Okay.
Like almost needed in a haystack. Like your options are so limited. Is there a lot of stock out there that's mediocre? Yeah, there's a fair bit.
Yeah, I see a lot of people doing that in the renovations market, which we class and that's the mediocre.
Yeah, so there's not taking it away from anyone.
Yeah, here we go.
Anyone who's bought a villa in the last 3-4 years has made money.
Okay.
You know, whether you renovated it good or bad, you've made money.
Yeah, you just sit on
even if you couldn't renovate it at all, you've made money. Some of those people who are exiting now have made big profits. They're putting it back in now, feel that they're a developer. And this is not bad mouthing anyone, but you know, the people that are paying like the prices, the record breaking prices that you keep seeing, they have attention to detail.
Yeah.
and they can tell the difference between a ceramic and a stone. They can tell the difference between branded and non-branded furniture. Like,
Yeah.
people can't expect to come into this market, buy something, spend 1 million dirham on a refurb, and
Yeah.
then all of a sudden, break a record and
Yeah. I've seen that firsthand. I mean, one of our friends was buying a property, and they looked at a property. I want to say where it is, but basically went in and it was a renovated job. And I said, "Do you like it?" And they said, "Yeah, I like it." They wanted a record price for it. He said, "But I wouldn't have put that kitchen type in. I don't think the value they're asking is the value that they're putting on the property." And I think there's a massive deterrent. If you're breaking the price per square foot record in these areas, you have to deliver an exceptional product, I think.
But remember, luxury and finish,
They should come
it's
hand in hand.
subjective.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
just because you say it's luxury and it's an amazing finish doesn't necessarily mean I would say the same thing.
Yeah, it's a bit like
And-
someone saying, "Oh, I've got a Versace shirt. It's got Versace." I'm like, "I don't like the
Yeah,
you got a Versace
exactly.
shirt."
Oh, Versace's the best brand.
Yeah.
Well, I don't think that.
I don't think that.
So, but that's why there's, you're always going to get
Yeah.
someone give a different opinion, and that's fair enough.
But yeah, I do think I don't think there's a lot of luxury properties. So for me, when we've just sold, how much did you just sell that property for? 100 and
107.
you sold another one after that. Is that transferred yet or not?
That's transfer done, yeah.
But there's another one there, wasn't there?
There was one before that, which was in the reserve, which was at 121.
Okay, to get to them levels, and I've seen both of them properties. There's one massive thing that I think in the luxury market isn't talked about. When you work with Charlie King and you work at the private office and you work at the agent's private office, we overcome these sellers that say they don't want to put it online. And we go out and take professional photos, videos, we do the open houses. We obviously work with our partners internationally to bring the clients in. Do you think a big part of selling a luxury property is having the right marketing and reach, or is that not a thing?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And I definitely think exclusivity is always the way forward. I feel like it gives off the wrong impression for buyers seeing the same property listed over and over.
It was desperate.
It doesn't necessarily look desperate, but the brokers, there's some brokers there's some amazing brokers out there. And it's the same with me. I wouldn't feel confident in taking, let's say for example, I wouldn't feel confident in taking an exclusive listing on the Palm.
Yeah.
I don't really know the Palm. I have a very good understanding across the board in most areas.
But executing a sale on it is
But
not
if someone asked me comps, what
Yeah.
sold, how was that villa that sold, how was that villa sold, I wouldn't know.
And what's your agent network in the area? You haven't really got that.
Exactly.
Because I've seen that with you. Obviously, when we did the open day, I remember you saying, "Lewis, can you come down and support?" So I came down, and there was like 10 agents from other companies, and they were really big hitters. But what I found interesting is that when you were negotiating any offers, they were coming to you, and you were negotiating on behalf of the seller and saying, "That's not good. That's not good. That won't happen. This is what I need as the seller's rep." And I think that is such an important part of listing it with the right agent.
Yeah, no, it is.
And it's not a plug to work with someone else or anything else, but I've just seen people list properties, and as soon as I see 3 of them, I'm like, "Nah, like you obviously need to sell," and
Yeah.
I'm not interested. The best way to describe it to anybody is your kid's interested in Labubus at the moment.
Oh,
Oh, it's blowing my brains out, honestly. But if you think about why Labubus are so in demand, it's because at one point you couldn't get them, and there's queues for them.
I don't even know the story behind it. I don't even know.
I couldn't even- I wish I knew the story for Labubus, but it's just
popped out of thin air, and now also
I wish I created it. But that is what it is. Labubu is supply and demand. Everybody panicked, wasn't in the shops. You can't even wear them at the moment in England. There's things going around saying, "Do not put a Labubu on your back because you're back robbed." And I just think going back to supply and demand, if there were Labubus everywhere, no one won them. I know it's diverting from 100 million dirham sale, but it's exactly the same thing. Having too many of one thing creates less demand.
Yeah, no, I agree. And it's being uniform. It's pitching the property in a uniform way, the same way on every pitch.
Apartments. So my favorite project coming up in the next 3 years at handover is Asura Bay.
Yeah,
Apartments we're
pretty much
talking.
gone now.
Yeah, so I think they offer me a unit. They're like, "You can sell this one." It was for 500 million dirham. I think I don't know if it's like an apartment, but a massive one. That area for me, where they've obviously demolished Lemur, for anyone who doesn't understand where it is. You've got J1 next to it. That location and what they're going to do with it is absolutely elite. What would you say your number one go-to project is outside of Barari for the luxury market when you're speaking to people?
Apartments wise.
Yeah.
Tough one, because it depends if you want beachfront living. I mean, the Sora Bay is great for beachfront living, but if you, there's a difference, right? You see, with beachfront living, there's always city living.
Yeah.
You know, some great off-plan projects in downtown.
Yeah.
In DIFC, you've got all that development in DIFC coming up.
Yeah.
The Four Seasons. You've got Eden House as well, which they just launched.
Down the canal.
No, you got Eden House on the canal. You got the one that they're doing, Eden House to Bill.
Okay.
In DIFC. And then you've got your Sora Bay as well on the beach, and then you've got your other projects, which Omnia are doing as well on the beach, on the Palm.
Yeah.
So there's some great products out there, like with these branded.
What's your
all
go-to?
Across the canal as well.
What's your go-to then? You've got not going to call it unlimited budget, but you can go, cool, I'm going to fire out something. I know this is where I want to live. I love the feel of when I walk in. It has everything that I'm looking for. What's your go-to? You're going to come a Sora of me, aren't you?
Yeah, I probably would, to be fair, because I like its low density.
Yeah.
As well. The 28 apartments, I believe.
Yeah. And obviously next to it, you're going to have another lower priced version of it within the community-ish. I think they're launching them soon, but I've got a few people, CEO level, high level people that are saying, look, I'm interested in investing in that. I think you're like 12 to 15 million for a 2-bed sea view, but you know what you're getting with a Meras style development. I think that will be where the money's at.
Do you still have your unit in One and Only?
One to Beal, yeah, I've got that. That was one of my riskiest investments, you know.
In what way?
So obviously
just because it was 9 mil for a 1-bed.
No, it was 8.1 for a 1-bed. It's 1,500 square feet. So I mean, the square footage was big, the same square footage as a 2-bed. Rented well, so I bought it for 8.1, rented for 670, 2-year contract, 1 check payments. So it's been a good investment and that such. But I really worry about my next investment. I don't think I'd invest again in a city development, meaning like urban. So One to Beal specifically, the tower, the location, everything is insane. But I just know I'm comfortable that someone would buy a beachfront or sea view living apartment over a city view. This is for me as an investor.
Yeah.
Now, I might have been burnt, by the way, because One to Beal is not DIFC and it's not downtown. So it's quite a hard.
That's the thing, in my opinion, with that project. Great project.
Yeah.
They've done an amazing job. The proximity's great, like the location's great.
Yeah.
But when you go down to your ground floor, like, where you go, walk around World Trade Center roundabout.
Yeah,
in my opinion, that's for me.
They sell it as a city resort, and I do agree with that. Like, you don't like. I've been to the pool, the restaurants, the top bar. You've got a floating DIFC in the middle of the restaurant. It is insane, but you are right. Like, you have to get in the car to go to. Let's see, to Zuma. It's only 2 minutes. It's literally there, but you have to
probably be quicker to walk than it would.
Yeah,
be to
jog a little bit hot to be doing that. So yeah, I just think that the city. Maybe I was burnt with that a little bit in terms of my confidence was knocked. It took a few months to rent it because anything, let's say my Atlantis Royal that I've got, if I had that, I honestly believe I could rent that within a week because I believe that cityfront, beachfront in that location.
But do you think that's because he's a 2-bed over a 1-bed though?
Actually a 3-bed, a bird, one of the rooms. Yeah, sorry about that.
Sorry, very bad. Do you think it's because of that?
Maybe
because how many people in my for
1 bed, 1,500 is heavy.
1 bed, 1,500 square foot. How many people are there really looking?
Well, look,
and I have that same view on capital gains as well.
Yeah, but when I analyse the investment, basically I thought, right, it's semi-close to the airport, it's DIFC, this is going to be an ultra-luxury business person that wants to live in the one and only hotel with the facilities. The 1,500 square feet you talk about, it comes with an insane walk-in wardrobe, the biggest bedroom. Like, it is incredible when you're in there. So I think if you've got some money behind you and you want to live in a hotel but not cooped up in a room, this is the place to do it. But yeah, it's an interesting one. So, okay, how far can the luxury market go? Because we're selling villas at 120 at the moment, 110. Palm villas are going to 200. How far can this go?
I don't think the trajectory is just going to keep going and to the moon and back. But all this, like this recent report, I'm going to touch on this now. I know you wanted to speak about it, how they can come out and say that the market's going to drop.
Isn't it?
I can't.
Yeah.
Okay, if someone was in the market today with 50, 70 million budget or 100 million budget, or even a 20 to a 30 million dirham budget, when they've narrowed down to a community,
Yeah.
the options are so limited.
Mm.
And the reality is, some people are in the market for 6 months to a year to try and find a property. And I'm not just talking about sales, I'm talking about rental as well.
Yeah.
You know, the fact that the good rentals are so few and far between is also pushing people to buy as well.
Yeah.
Because one, the rents are so high, based on that there's no stock.
Mm.
So even with people say, oh, but all your supply coming through, if you look at the supply coming through versus the people coming in and setting up visas, which I'm sure you'll have the stats to.
I'm literally about to pull it up for you now. It's interesting. But I said it off camera before. I think it's very damaging, these reports coming out, because we actually have clients that go, oh, maybe I shouldn't buy at the moment because of this. And then when you give them the data, they're like, oh, okay, well, maybe they're wrong. So I sent my data team out today, and I'm going to do a quick video on it later on and tag it in Love in Dubai. So interesting stats for you. So people talk about oversupply. So I'm just going to tell you this. Let's have a look. Master community. Well, there's a lot of data here. Okay, handovers. So in 2021, it's 35,000 handovers, 35,942 in exact amount. 22, there's 38. 23, 38. 24, 32. So far in 2025, bear in mind we're in the 6th month, 16,000 have handed over. They're projecting 75,000 will hand over, which is double the amount of properties that handover projected. They'll never do it. No developer has ever handed over on time, except from a couple of people. They're always a year or 2 years delayed. I mean, even Talal Al Gaff, look how many handover notices were delayed in that period of handovers. It's like a year plus. So that's that. And then you go on to the master community. This is the interesting bit. So master community supply coming 2025 up and coming supply. There's 10,200 apartment total units in Jumeirah Village Circle, which is expected. That's the highest transacted area. Azizi Venice, 7,000 units handing over, 6,000 villas. Business Bay, 5,000 units. Damat Lagoons, 5,000. And as you go further down, you've got like Healthcare City, Dubai South, Jebel Ali, Mohammed bin Rashid City, Studio City, like 1,100 or 1,500. But if you say, let's say 2,000 units, that's only 3 towers. That's important to know. Dubai's bringing 1,000 new residents a day at the moment. 1,000 new residents a day.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
We are wildly, I'm not going to say undersupplied, but we'll launch all this stuff. We're not going to hand over for another 3 years. So to hand over 3 years, where are the 220,000 people coming this year? They're going to have to move further out. The main thing people seem to say is, the prices can't continue like this. Yeah, you can't now afford to live in the Springs, as an example. We just rented a Springs 4-bedroom for 330,000 dirhams, which is just crazy.
Look, some things are incredibly high and seem expensive, whether it's from a rental or sales point of view. But we think it's expensive because we knew the values that it was 3 or 4 years ago.
Correct.
Were the values that we see 3 and 4 years ago, were they correct values? No. Dubai was massively undervalued.
Yeah, I agree.
It wasn't the right money. When you confirm, even when you compared it to where I'm from back home, which is on the outskirts of London, like the houses were much more expensive.
Yeah.
Back home, okay, we've taken over now compared to what,
Dubai's different though, isn't it? I mean, you got to take into consideration from 5 years ago to Dubai today to where it is from 5 years ago, whether it's corporation tax, VAT, the businesses that are here, the regulations, like whether it is anti-money laundering, everything has moved forward. Even the restaurants, even the nightclubs, the hotels, they have all moved forward, and it's created not a Dubai of, oh, you can make £1 million in a week here. That's not that Dubai. This is now the best place in the world to live. And I think Michael Liani from Property Finder said it. He said, the more that Europe and the US mess up, which is going to happen more and more, the more it's going to benefit the UAE.
I agree. They've created a lifestyle, an amazing lifestyle. You can have an amazing life here with your family. Okay, people say tax-free. Yeah, there's taxes here and there. But the lifestyle we live and safety.
Yeah.
Look at everything that's going on in Europe and in the US, with crime rate through the roof, stabbings, muggings, burglaries. Like, what? You can't even walk there with a phone, down the high street. I mean, what has this world come to? Here you can leave your car open. I know people rant on about that. We take it for granted because we've been here such a long time.
Yeah.
But people can't get their head around that are moving in. Like, oh, you really don't lock your front door? And you should always lock your front door.
We lock our front door. Anybody watching this?
But, it's...
I do think that, again, when you talk about the Dubai safety and everything else, and I speak to, as I said before,
we undervalue safety. Like,
wildly. We do, but other people in the world are actually moving here for that. And that's the benefit to Dubai. I always say that you know who lives here. Basically when, who comes in, they've got to get a passport stamped, you live here, you've got an Emirates ID, it's linked to your visa. And it's that controlled environment. It's not too controlled, but it's controlled enough for you to feel safe. So when people talk about this whole 15%, the Fitch report, I think it's one of the maddest things I've heard, because the population is growing. Everywhere I speak to, people are moving to Dubai. Piers Morgan come in the other day and he went, "This is the best electric city." He's literally just been here. The UAE wowed them for what you've created. He said, and he openly said, "Go and watch it. All of my friends are moving here or living here at the moment." So the population increasing. We've just said there's not enough houses. Where there's going to be houses is like anywhere. There's going to be, the further out you go, you're going to find more land to be built on, which creates a more value for money.
But that's what scares people here.
Yeah.
And there's always been the stigma is the land is endless. The land, when you drive 15, 20 minutes out, same where we're sitting now. People used to say, and still have that stigma, "Oh, Al Barari's miles away. It's 20 minutes away." It's not.
But now it's an
But now,
resort.
we always used to say, wherever you live, it's 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Door to door is 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Now that's changing with traffic, which RTA
incredible job what they're doing.
an amazing, the next 4 or 5 years, it'll be a different place from a traffic point of view. But everything now is 30 minutes.
Yeah.
For us to go into downtown, it's 30 minutes. For us to go in the marina, it's 30 minutes.
Yeah.
From wherever you are, everything's 30 minutes.
They're all micro cities though. So my answer to when we talk about Fitch, and tell me if I'm wrong, is the population is dramatically increasing and spiking at a level that we're struggling to keep up with. We do not have enough properties handing over, which the data backs up. There are more people moving here. The cornerstone of this for me, out of everything, is, let's say you bought property 4 years ago, which we talked about. You're sitting on so much equity at the moment in wealth and profit that you've made. Dubai isn't bringing millionaires. What it's done really well is it's created millionaires. And no one in this right mind in this market is selling their house 15% below what the actual market value is, based on data that we can actually show.
The reason why why as well, the stock, even forget the future developments or the off-plan stuff. I'm talking about the ready stuff now.
Yeah.
The reason why the stock's so limited is if sellers sell, where do they go?
They have to rebuy.
And then they've got to find something they've got to rebuy.
Correct.
And that's the issue. There is nothing.
And this is the same issue now. So I'm going to just give you this scenario before we wrap up the conversation. One of our friends that sold his house in JGE, he sold it for a record price. He's probably going to have to rebuy something at a record price or a high value and renovate it, which will create the record price. So even though he's made the wealth from that property, he's still got to reinvest in a smaller or bigger property for a higher value than it was 3 years ago. So that wealth is just recycling. And that is just because if you live in Dubai and you've made the money, you're comfortable reinvesting the wealth that Dubai has created for you. And that's what people can't get their head around. Like, if you haven't lived in Dubai and you come here, you go, "Oh my God, these properties weren't worth that." But if you live here for 4 or 5 years, you just know that's the value today.
Yeah, and I feel like a lot of people that are talking the market down, or
They're tenants or
or they're people that haven't
buyers.
bought and they're a bit bitter that they missed opportunity. They've lived here 15
I
years.
would
and
be.
I would be.
Yeah.
If I hadn't bought something, I was looking at the Palm with Ryan yesterday on viewings. And like, I remember when those garden homes, not that long ago, was 7.
I remember 8 million. We had the from really no number.
Yeah, okay, I'm bitter. I'm like, why didn't I buy it? Why didn't I see it? I'm in the market.
Yeah.
Why didn't I see that coming?
Yeah.
But the reality is, no one really see it coming. Like the boom that we've seen and the people coming in. But yeah, Dubai's good. Dubai's You know, I don't. That report that's come in, I mean,
Yeah, I will be doing some content on it later.
and it's actually wobbled a few buyers
No, I
and
agree.
transactions that I'm dealing with.
People believe what they read, though. This is why I think it's so important. Allsopp and Allsopp, even myself, I go on social media and LinkedIn and tell you what's really happening. Because if we read in the news today that something was going on in the sky, hypothetically, there was something going, we would all tell each other, "Look, have you read about that in the sky?" And that becomes real at that point. That is the danger of social media and people like these companies that have a helicopter view of what's going on. But the best people, I've learned this along the way, trust people on the ground.
Yeah.
Anyway, thank you very much for your time. Look for your property market. Also, open up a private office. If you're looking to sell, rent, invest, speak to Charlie King and his team. Cheers, guys.
Thank you.